Now, from the Low Country's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
Right now, discussions on funding for finishing 526. Sydney Ryan in Columbia, where officials have just wrapped up a meeting. But first.
Lord have mercy. Please give me.
That from a driver who was stuck on the Don Holt Bridge when a canvas over the top of the bridge collapsed during a major thunderstorm on I-526. Right now, this is what the Don Holt looks like right now. Westbound lanes were reopened about 7 o'clock this morning. Eastbound lanes reopened about 3 hours later, just after 10 o'clock in the morning. Before the collapse, this is what the bridge looked like with a large tarp. The canvas was put up as construction crews prepared to repaint the bridge. Just about 24 hours ago, this was the scene on the bridge as a major storm rolled through. The tarp collapsed on top of 7 cars and blocked both the east and westbound lanes. Those lanes remained closed for nearly 12 hours as cars were turned around on the bridge and traffic was rerouted around the debris.
But right now, we have news crews covering all the angles of this developing story. Alexis Simmons spoke with someone trapped under the tarp. Jordan Wilkerson is watching the roads and will alert you to any traffic issues that would affect your drive home this afternoon. But first, Karina Bolster has details on a warning to authorities days before yesterday's collapse. So what's this all about, Karina?
Well, Bill and Debbie, we are here in Riverfront Park right now, which has a really nice view of the Don Holt Bridge. And as you can see right now, the tarp has been taken off of the top of the bridge at this point, but the tarps on the side of the bridge still hang up there. Now, I'm told those will eventually be removed. However, a timeline has not been confirmed. Now, both lanes of travel officially reopened just before 10 this morning after crews worked throughout the night, as you mentioned, to clear the fallen canvas on the bridge. Now, the Deputy Secretary for Engineering with SCDOT says they expect to have an update on this situation that happened here tomorrow morning. While there are many unanswered questions right now about how this all happened, one driver contacted authorities earlier in the week about their concerns with the canvas flapping in the wind.
This big canvas is torn loose and it's flapping in the air, and if it tears loose on all sides, it could come off the bridge and cover several cars and cause wrecks. That's what I'm trying to report to you.
At this point, we know the contractor has been made aware of the situation that happened here in Charleston yesterday afternoon. I did reach out to the company, which is based in Ohio, for comment about what happened. However, we have not heard back from them at this point. We do expect them to meet with DOT officials tomorrow in order to figure out exactly how all of this happened. According to SCDOT, this is the first and only project this company has had with the Department of Transportation. Live at Riverfront Park, Karina Bolster, Live 5 News.
Karina, thank you. When that tarp fell, 7 cars were trapped underneath it, and many of those cars, while not injured, have many questions about how this thing came down. Alexis Simmons spoke with one of those people who was underneath the tarp. Alexis, what did you find out?
Yeah, I spoke with Robert Waters today. He was actually one of the 17 people who called 911 while this was all going on. So he told me he was driving up, approaching the Don Holt Bridge. That's when that storm kicked through, very heavy rain and wind. And he said he saw it flapping like a sail. Those are his words. He did not think at any point that it was actually going to come down and fall on his car, which crashed his windshield. Take a listen to what he says about the incident.
Rescue crew had to actually cut the cables before I could get out. It looks like something really heavy landed right where the driver's side is. And so it was shattered. The windshield wipers were shattered. There was damage to the front end. The driver's side mirror was torn off, and just a lot of scratches and damage from the cables.
and those are actually pictures of his car that was trapped under that netting. And he told me that his car is currently in the shop right now. He's not sure if it is beyond repair at this point, but he's expected to learn that later on today. Now, another thing that he told me was that he couldn't see anything around him when this happened, so he wasn't aware if this other people were caught in it or if anyone had been hurt. But of course, he is thankful that he was not hurt today. But he did tell me that it took him about 3 hours to get to work because the bridge was closed. I'm live in North Charleston. Alexis Simmons, Live 5 News.
Alexis, thank you. Our team coverage continues right now. We're Jordan Wilkerson tracking the drive times and traffic issues around the low country. Jordan, what are you seeing right now?
Well, for the most part, things are looking a lot better than this time yesterday because of all the slick roads. And this is a live look out at the Don Holt. Look at these people just zooming on by. But we do have a couple things to get to in terms of your traffic overall. So let's get right to it. Starting at the bottom here, we have some debris on the road on I-26 westbound at Montague Avenue exit, which is exit 213. Then we have an accident on I-26 eastbound at the University Boulevard exit, which is exit 205. Here we go. Another couple accidents here. This is Margaret Drive at David Drive and an accident on Bacons Bridge Road at Berlin G. Myers Parkway. So if you are living around those areas, going to be driving through those areas soon, be mindful of those situations. Everywhere else looking pretty good, though. And you can see it on the drive times as well. 23 minutes to get from Mount Pleasant to West Ashley going westbound I-526. And this number yesterday was around 117 minutes before the traffic completely stopped. Here's a look at the I-26 drive times, around 20 minutes in both directions, looking great on I-26, depending on which way you're headed there as well. And the slowest going southbound for Highway 17, just under 30 minutes to get from Mount Pleasant to West Ashley and 22 minutes in that northbound direction. Of course, get out on the roads now before more people get off work, and be careful out there.
Thank you, Jordan. What a difference a day makes. We are continuing to work to find out the details of what may have caused that tarp to fall.
And we're also still talking to people who were trapped underneath the tarp. For the very latest updates, you can head to live5news.com.
In the last few hours, the State Infrastructure Bank Board was supposed to discuss the latest on funding for the 526 extension or completion, but they decided to wait until their next meeting for that discussion. Sydney Ryan joins us now live in Columbia, where that meeting was held today. So, Sydney, did we learn anything today?
Well, Bill, we actually did. About an hour ago, the SIB board members adjourned the meeting where we were supposed to get some sort of update on the 526 extension project. Now, the board breezed through the agenda items, but right before coming to the Mark Clark extension, they decided to go into executive session for, quote, legal reasons. Now, they stayed in executive session, which is closed to the public, for almost 2 hours before coming back into the room and immediately, without any updates to 526, voting to move the discussion on 526 to their next meeting. Now, we don't know when that meeting will be, but Chip Limehouse, the only Charleston representative with the SIB board, says that should be within 60 days. Coming up at 6, I'll tell you what numbers may have changed with the 526 extension project. For now, reporting live from Columbia, I'm Sydney Ryan, Live 5 News.
In the next hour, the Charleston County Park and Recreation Commission holding a public meeting for the master plan of Old Town Creek County Park. That meeting will give you a chance to ask questions about the master plan, perhaps make suggestions for this 67-acre park west of the Ashley. The meeting starts in just about an hour from now at 6 o'clock in the cafeteria of Orange Grove Charter School, West Ashley.
State prison officials say 3 people have been arrested in connection with the July 4th escape of Jimmy Causey from Lieber Prison. Causey was caught 3 days later in Texas with guns, cell phones, and $47,000 in cash. Larice Rozier, Benjamin Bevier, and Robert Williams have all been arrested. Police say Rozier sent money to Causey through Western Union, and she knew the money was for a future escape. Williams is accused of driving a truck to Lieber to pick Causey up. Bevier is accused of allowing Williams to use his truck. Authorities want to know if you recognize this guy. North Charleston police say they're searching for this man in connection with the shooting at Northwoods Mall that happened July 3rd. Police say 2 men were involved in some sort of fight when one of them took out a gun and fired a single shot inside a store. The mall was evacuated as police search for the suspects after authorities say they ran from the store. If you know who were the 2 men who were involved, you're asked to call police.
After almost 9 years in prison, former football star O.J. Simpson will be freed in just a few months. Simpson granted parole today after he was convicted on armed robbery charges in 2007. Simpson and 5 men confronted sports memorabilia dealers in a Las Vegas hotel room in 2007, claiming they were selling stuff that belonged to Simpson. Simpson will be released in October.
North Charleston police say 1 man is in custody after drugs and a gun were found in his car. Police pulled over Everett Duffy in the Dorchester Terrace community for a defective brake light, and they say they smelled marijuana in the car. A search revealed marijuana, according to police, as well as cocaine and a revolver. Duffy faces several charges.
Okay, first he's in, then he's out, and now he's back in. It's been a crazy few days at the College of Charleston. Chad Holbrook, the new baseball coach at the college. It's final now. Holbrook was initially offered the job on Tuesday, but the deal was nixed by CFC President Glenn McConnell. Then he apparently reconsidered. The school will hold a news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to formally introduce Holbrook. Holbrook was fired after 5 years as head baseball coach at the University of South Carolina.
Right now, we're keeping a very close eye on a small chance of a shower or a storm as we take a live look over the Charleston Harbor. But we want to give you the first alert to a very hot day expected tomorrow and also throughout the weekend. Our chief meteorologist Bill Walsh in the First Alert Weather Center.
Yes.
Not quite hot enough for a heat advisory just yet.
It's
Bill.
going to get close, though. In fact, I want to give you the first alert, Debbie, as you mentioned, for tomorrow. This is tomorrow morning. We're going to wake up in the 80s. But watch this. This is the feels-like temperature, how your body reacts. I'm going to take you through tomorrow afternoon to tell you first what the temperatures are going to be tomorrow afternoon. Look at these numbers: 103 Somerville, 105 Walterboro, 106 up in the Moncks Corner. The criteria for a heat advisory is 110 in the heat index. So that's, we're going to get up there, maybe not exactly 110, but bottom line is it's going to be hot, not only for your Friday, but right into your weekend. Talk more about that in a moment. Live First Alert. Super Doppler Max not cooling things off too much this afternoon. We had a couple of stray showers out there. We were watching this one up into Berkeley County, not far from Old Joe. As you make your way up 41, be on the lookout for that over toward Jamestown. And down along the Ace Basin, a couple of rain showers as well down your way. Elsewhere, everything else is just kind of hot and muggy. Coming up in a few minutes. Your weekend's always first. We're going to talk about a hot one on the way.
The State Department of Transportation says improvements are on the way to our roads. Coming up at 5:30, Ashley Holland is live from Columbia with what those improvements mean for you.
Look at this. Thousands of acres burned, hundreds of homes threatened by fire in California. Next at 5, how much of the intense fire has been contained?